10 seconds left. Daniel sat alone in his small apartment, the faint hum of the city outside his window barely noticeable. Bills were scattered across the table. His phone screen glowed dimly with unanswered messages from work, reminders of deadlines he had already missed. Life hadn't gone the way he thought it would. At 34, Daniel had once imagined a future full of promise. A career he loved. A family that filled his home with laughter. A purpose that made every morning feel meaningful. Instead, he felt invisible. 2 months ago, the company he worked for downsized. His name was on the list. A week later, his girlfriend packed her things and left, saying she needed someone more stable. His savings were almost gone. And worst of all, the quiet voice inside him kept asking the same painful question. What if you were never meant for anything? The clock ticked. 11 hours 59 minutes and 50 seconds. 10 seconds left. Daniel rubbed his face and sighed. He didn't even know why that phrase felt so heavy tonight. Maybe it was just his mind playing tricks on him after weeks of stress and sleepless nights. But something inside him felt different. Like someone was trying to get his attention. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. A notification appeared on the screen. Unknown number. He frowned. Spam, probably. But something made him open it anyway. The message was short. Daniel. Heaven is trying to reach you. Do not ignore this moment. His heart skipped. He stared at the screen, confused. What kind of prank is this? He muttered. Another message appeared immediately. You have been asking for a sign. Daniel froze. Because it was true. Just the night before, sitting on the edge of his bed, exhausted and desperate, he had whispered a prayer he hadn't spoken since he was a child. God, if you're real, please show me something. Anything. He never expected an answer. Yet here it was. Another message. 10 seconds remain. Listen. Daniel felt a chill run through his body. His apartment suddenly felt strangely quiet. Even the city sounds outside seemed to fade. The clock on his phone flipped to midnight. And then, something happened. At first, he thought the power went out. The room dimmed, but it wasn't darkness. It was as if the air itself shimmered. Daniel's chest tightened as a warm light slowly filled the space around him. Not blinding. Not frightening. Peaceful. Like sunlight after a long storm. And in that moment, a voice spoke. Not from the room. Not from the phone. But deep inside his heart. Daniel. He gasped. The voice was strong, calm, and filled with a power that felt ancient and kind at the same time. I am Michael. Daniel's mind struggled to process what he was hearing. Archangel Michael? No, that couldn't be real. But the warmth surrounding him felt more real than anything he had experienced in months. You asked for a sign, the voice continued gently. And heaven heard you. Tears unexpectedly filled Daniel's eyes. I'm not a good person, he whispered. You've got the wrong guy. The light around him seemed to pulse softly. There are no wrong ones among the chosen. Daniel shook his head. Chosen? I'm unemployed. Broke. I can barely help myself. For a moment, there was silence. Then the voice spoke again. That is why you were chosen. Daniel frowned through his tears. I don't understand. And suddenly, memories began flooding his mind. Small moments he had almost forgotten. The winter 5 years ago when he gave his coat to a homeless man shivering outside a subway station. The time he spent his last $20 buying groceries for an elderly neighbor. The countless quiet acts of kindness no one ever saw. You believed those moments meant nothing, the voice said softly. But heaven saw every one. Daniel's chest tightened. You never sought praise, Michael continued. You simply cared when others walked away. The light around him grew warmer. The world believes greatness comes from power or success. But heaven measures something different. Daniel whispered, kindness. Yes. A tear rolled down his cheek. But why me? He asked. What does any of this mean? The voice became more serious now. Because someone's life will change tomorrow. And you are meant to be there. Daniel blinked. What? At 7:14 a.m. tomorrow morning, Michael said, a woman named Lila will stand on the edge of a bridge. Daniel's stomach dropped. She believes her life has no value. The room felt heavy with emotion. But if someone speaks to her, if someone reminds her she matters, her story will not end. Daniel's voice trembled. And that someone is, me. Yes. Daniel stared at the floor. I don't know her. You will. I'm not good at talking to people. You are good at caring. The warmth in the room pulsed again. That is enough. Daniel sat silently, overwhelmed. For months he had felt like his life had no direction. No purpose. And now suddenly, everything felt different. But why the 10 seconds? Daniel asked quietly. Michael's voice softened again. Because moments matter. Daniel looked up. In 10 seconds, Michael continued, a life can end. A pause. Or it can be saved. The light began slowly fading. Daniel panicked slightly. Wait. How will I know where to go? The voice answered gently. Trust the quiet voice you ignored for so long. The glow around him dimmed further. And Daniel? Yes? Heaven does not choose the strongest people. The final warmth lingered like a soft embrace. It chooses the kindest hearts. Then the room returned to normal. The light vanished. The city sounds came rushing back. Daniel sat there in stunned silence. His phone screen lit up again. A final message appeared. 7:14 a.m. East River Bridge. Then the screen went dark. For a long time, Daniel didn't move. Part of him wondered if exhaustion had made him imagine everything. But another part of him felt something he hadn't felt in months. Hope. The next morning, the sky was pale with early sunlight as Daniel stood near the bridge. His hands were shaking. What if this was all in my head, he whispered. Then he saw her. A young woman standing dangerously close to the railing. Her shoulders were slumped. Her eyes filled with tears. Daniel's heart pounded. He slowly walked closer. Hey, he said gently. She turned, startled. What? Daniel swallowed his fear. I don't know what you're going through, he said softly. But I just want you to know, you matter. The woman blinked. Like she hadn't heard those words in years. Daniel continued, voice trembling. Someone out there would be devastated if you disappeared. Her lip quivered. You don't know me. You're right, Daniel said. But I know pain when I see it. He took a slow step closer. And I know that life can change in a single moment. Tears streamed down her face. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Then finally, the woman stepped away from the railing. Daniel felt his knees nearly give out in relief. She whispered, thank you. At that exact moment, the sun rose over the city. Golden light filled the bridge. And Daniel felt that same warm presence from the night before. Not visible. But real. In that moment, Daniel understood something that would stay with him for the rest of his life. Heaven doesn't always move through miracles in the sky. Sometimes, it moves through ordinary people who choose kindness when it matters most. And sometimes, 10 seconds is all it takes to save a life.